Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. Make sure you are subscribed to All This Math. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you tell people about what's happening here at All This Math. All right, we're teaching math to the whole community. All right, now I'm calling this Facebook math because I saw this problem posted on Facebook and I shared it on my page because it was a cool little problem, right? It tests some different skills that we all should have if we want to have an understanding of algebra, and which leads to a larger understanding of problem solving generally. All right, so we have the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared, right? Now, this is a square root because this symbol is a radical sign. So let's talk a little bit about the language of math. This is called a radical sign, this symbol, right? It looks similar to a long division symbol, right? But it's not because it's got this little tail thing right there, right? So that means that we're taking the square root of whatever value is inside. Now, what is a square root? Make sure you understand what a square root is. A square root is a number that can be multiplied by itself to arrive at a product. So, for example, 3 is the square root of 9. Why is that? Because 3 multiplied by 3 equals 9. All right, 10 is the square root of 100 because 10 multiplied by 10 equals 100. 12 is the square root of 144 because 12 times 12 equals 144, right? So those are some examples of square roots. Remember, a square root, a number multiplied by itself that will equal another number, right? Square root. All right. So what do we do here? So we want to know how to simplify this. So we got to think, okay, we always consider order of operations, right? This radical sign also, and this deals with understanding the language of mathematics. This radical sign also serves as a grouping symbol, right? Like a set of parentheses, meaning you have to simplify everything in this expression first, right? Now, within this expression, we have addition and we have exponents. You have to make the decision. Do you use the exponents first or do you add first, right? Are you going to do 3 plus 4 and get 7 and then do 7 to the second power? No, you are not. Absolutely not. You're not about to do that. You're going to follow the order of operations, which indicates that you should deal with the exponents first. So these exponents, right? These are called exponents, these little numbers, these 2's up here, right? That means 3 to the second power. That does not mean 3 times 2. That means that if you were to write, and this is like an abbreviation for a longer multiplication sentence, right? A multiplication sentence where this number 3 will be present twice. How do I know twice? Because that's a 2 right there. The exponent tells me how many times the base, this 3 is called a base, this 4 is called a base, this 3 is called a base, this 4 is called a base. This exponent tells me how many times that 3 would show up in a multiplication sentence. So if this is a 2, that means this will be 3 times 3 in real time. If I was to write it out in expanded form, right, this would be 3 times 3, which is 9, right? So let's simplify this. Let's look at what this would be. So we still got the radical sign. 3 to the second power is not 6. It's not 6. I want to reiterate that. It's not 6. It represents 3 times 3, right? That's a multiplication. That's an abbreviation for a multiplication sentence where this 3 is written twice. 3 times 3 will give me 9. You got to know your multiplication facts too. Bring the plus sign down. Then the 4. 4 is the base. 4 squared, or 4 to the second power, represents a abbreviation of a multiplication sentence where 4 will be written twice, right? 4 times 4, which is going to be 16. So we got 9 plus 16. Now, in the parentheses, the invisible parentheses, we got to do the addition. 9 plus 16 is 25, right? Now, the square root of 25 is what we're being asked to find. We're being asked to find the square root of 25. Now, again, I told you earlier what a square root is. It's a number that can be multiplied by itself to equal a certain number. In this case, we want to know what number can be multiplied by itself to equal 25, right? What number can be multiplied by itself to equal 25? Now, it happens to be a whole number, 5, because 5 times 5 equals 25. Therefore, the answer to this problem is 5. So make sure you understand what a radical sign means. And when I say square root, that means that in a radical sign, if there's no number written right here, this is called the index, right? Sometimes it could be a 3 written right here, a 4 written right here, a 5, a 6, a 7, a 8, any number, right? But if there's no number written, it's understood that there's an invisible 2 right there, meaning you're taking the second root of 25, or the second root of the expression 3 squared plus 4 squared, right? The second root. So since we're taking the second root, right, which is also known as the square root, so that's something else you got to understand and remember. The second root and the square root mean the same thing. The second root and the square root mean the same thing. All right, so this is the second root of 25. right? As opposed to if it was the third root, there would be a 3 written here. If it was a fourth root, it would be a 4. Any other root, you got to write the actual number or write the actual index, right? The index goes here. The expression that's inside the radical sign is called the radicand, right? All this stuff got names. Everything's got a name, right? The expression underneath of the radical sign is called the radicand, and index is out here, which tells you what root you're dealing with. And we got the radical sign and a radicand and our index. And we ended up looking for the square root of 25, which is 5, because 5 times 5 equals 25. That's the principal root. Some people would claim that also -5 could be an answer. -5 is valid because -5 times -5 also does equal 25. So we could say, if we want to be technical, +5 and -5. But in certain actual applications in algebra, we would disregard the -5 if we're dealing with, a situation where the domain or the total amount of possible answers cannot include negatives. Like if we're dealing with geometry and it's a geometry problem, and it's like, okay, well, what's the length of this side of this triangle? Like it can't be -5 inches or -5 feet long or something like that. So we would just, if we get the negative, we don't even worry about the negative. You know what I'm saying? We only deal with the positive, right? Keep it positive, good vibes only, and all that type stuff, right? So anyway, just something I wanted to run through real quick. 5 is the final answer. All right. So like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel, tell people about the channel, share the video, and I'll see y'all later.